Hi, this is James Frey with Alberta Health Services for Health Matters. We're talking to Andrea Klassen, a health promotions facilitator, about car seats, child car seats. Now, we've got some seats here, and what are some things that parents need to be aware of when they're dealing with car seats?
So parents need to be aware that you have to purchase your seats in Canada. There's a little label on the seat. It's a little maple leaf label, which means that it's been past the Canadian safety standards, and that has to be on your car seat for it to be used in Canada. You cannot use a seat that's purchased in the US. It is illegal for use in Canada. It's also important to know that your seats need to be installed properly, so they need to move less than an inch from side to side or in any direction once they're installed. If that's not the case, you can be ticketed for an improper installation of your car seat.
Now, where can people get information or have their seats checked if they have put them in themselves?
So I check them here at the health unit, right here in Lethbridge. There's other places across the zone. In Medicine Hat, you can have them checked through the Southeastern Alberta Safety Alliance Society, so that's their safety city. In Brooks, they also have someone that checks theirs at their health unit. So across our zone, there's different places, but in Lethbridge, I check them here at the health unit and do inspections and installs and make sure that they're in correctly.
Mm-hmm. Now, of course, people are buying seats secondhand. They're buying other things, maybe finding them. What should people be aware of in that context?
So we don't recommend buying any seats secondhand. We don't recommend them being sold or bought at garage sales, particularly because we don't know if they've ever been in a collision and we don't know how they've been stored. If they've been in a collision, they have to be replaced. It is the law. They've only been safety tested for one collision. So basically, even if you are in that little fender bender, your child's not in your seat, has to be replaced. To have your seats discarded, you can bring them to the health unit here. Just bring them to me and I will have all the paperwork done and have them discarded. We want to make sure that they're discarded properly, because if they are being sent or put out on the curb for pickup, sometimes they are taken by others, and we want to make sure that someone's not using an unsafe seat.
Mm-hmm. So, Andrea, of course, we've got a couple different seat options here. Now, what are some pluses and minuses for each seat, I guess?
So some things that we need to look for is making sure that your child is obviously in the right seat for their weight and height. They need to be in a rear-facing seat until they're at least 1 year of age. They have to be 22 pounds and be able to walk before you can even transfer them to a forward-facing seat. So when they're in that seat, we want to make sure for rear-facing that it's at the correct angle. We're also making sure that their straps are coming at their shoulder or just below, they're coming out, and their chest clip is right at the armpit level. When we transition them to a forward-facing seat like this one, we want to make sure that they are at least the 1 year of age, 22 pounds, and are walking. Then the shoulder straps are going to come out just above or at shoulder level, and then the same thing, the chest clip is right at the armpit level, and we're securing them in there so we can only get 1 to 2 fingers underneath the straps. So before we move them to a booster seat, they have to be at least 40 pounds. You cannot move your child from a forward-facing seat to a booster until they're at least 40 pounds. And we want to make sure that the seatbelt's hitting them correctly. So even if they are a bit smaller or they're shorter, don't necessarily transition them to that booster until they're ready, because the booster seat, might be too big for them. Same thing with moving them to a seatbelt. We're making sure that they're hitting them in the correct places, right on the collarbone, between the shoulder and the neck, because we don't want that seatbelt rubbing on the child's neck, because that's unsafe.
Thanks very much, Andrea. That's been some great information to help parents in picking car seats and also in transitioning kids. This is James Frey with Alberta Health Services for Health Matters. See you next time.